Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please.
Hey, Anton, can you stand right here?
You gonna come on over here? I don't bite.
More.
Then come on over, all the speakers. Come over. I want to first start by saying Happy Earth Day, everyone. Yes. Happy Earth Day. My name is Antoine Thompson, Executive Director of the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition. We're so excited to be here today for Earth Day 2023. And we have some dynamic folks for our Earth Day electric school bus tour. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the Federal City Alumni Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. All right. Any Deltas around here? All right. And so we're really excited today. We lead a major initiative for electric school buses in the region. It's a Mid-Atlantic Electric School Bus Experience Program, and you're going to hear from a number of speakers today, but it's a really important program because one of the things about this program, our kids ride buses every day, at least 5 to 6 days a week. And so they're on those buses for long periods of time, and if they're not an electric school bus, for many kids, and not only in this region but across the country, it increases asthma. And so you're going to hear a lot from the speakers today on what we can do. The DC government was able to get some funding for school buses, but that's really a down payment, from the federal government, because DC has, and you'll hear from our school board president, Association board president, that's really just a down payment on what we need to do to electrify school buses, not only in DC but across the region and across the country. And there are negative impacts as a result of that, not having our kids on these electric school buses. When we think about Earth Day, which was started 1970, the EPA was also founded that year as well, right? And so we have a lot of work to do. Communities like this in DC, and you'll hear more of this from all the speakers, I don't want to take too much of their thunder, have higher rates of asthma. In our communities, particularly black communities, people think it's hereditary. They think it's genetic. But the fact of the matter is, respiratory illnesses are something that's preventable. But it requires our leadership and our activism. And I know that many of you Deltas go on Capitol Hill, right? You go to your state capitals and you go to City Hall. And I'm just asking you to advocate more beyond the 25 buses we were able to get from the federal government. We need more money for electric school buses, right? And that requires advocacy and action and leadership. And so on Earth Day, this is a day of service, but it's also a day of advocacy and action. So without further ado, I am going to introduce Eboni-Rose Thompson, District of Columbia State Board of Education President. She is a woman on the move who cares about kids, who understands that she has an awesome responsibility to provide effective and collaborative leadership. So let's put our hands together for Eboni-Rose Thompson. Madam President, the floor is yours.
So, am I supposed to be here?
Yeah,
yes.
you
Give me instructions. So anybody who is in education, please give us instructions. We are the worst students. We do not listen, so tell us discreetly where we are supposed to be. My name is Eboni-Rose Thompson. I do have the pleasure and the privilege of representing, actually, this is my home ward, Ward 7. I grew up here. I represent the neighborhood schools that I went to. as a kid, so I'm not somebody who's like, oh, you have to make it out of your community. In DC, our goal really is to make it back, because many of our kids don't make it back. My job on the State Board of Education is to think about not just how our kids get to school, but through school. So I'm excited to see the investment that we have coming in literally how we get our kids to school. In DC, many of our kids walk to school. I walked to school as a kid. Many of our kids get ourselves to school. What we don't realize is actually it's our most vulnerable kids who we transport to school. So those are going to be students with physical disabilities. Those are going to be students with mental disabilities. So it's really important that we are taking care of our most vulnerable, and that ride is one that's comfortable, that's healthy, that's safe for them. And so I'm excited to see the investment that we have. Everything that you said about asthma is absolutely right. Actually, it's asthma, eczema, allergies are like the trifecta of things that we overwhelmingly have in communities like mine, which are Black, which are disproportionately low income, and which are disproportionately related or situated next to environmental factors like train tracks if you live close by, or like the Pepco plant that we just decommissioned, right? Like those things are not by accident, and because they're not by accident, we can also make the investments to make those not the case in our community anymore. So thank you all for being here today. I'm super excited to see Federal City chapter because you're not technically my sisters, but you're my sister's sister. And so I see some people that I know in the audience. She actually had something else to do today, but she was like, oh yeah, of course, like we're the best. Like, of course we're doing the Earth Day cleanup today. So thank you all for all you're about to do. And it's just a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from a young lady who has been going all over the country advocating for electric school buses. Director Sue Gander, director of the World Resource Initiative's electric school bus program, W.R.I. They are all over the country pushing hard, providing education, providing technical assistance, working with school districts, big and small, to make sure they can get it, not only get it done, but get it right? Not just get it done, but get it right, so that we make an impact for our children and our communities. And they also, like our office, have a commitment to make sure that the communities that have been affected and affected by bad air quality from school buses, that they're not left behind. And that's really important. That's why advocacy is so important. So Sue, come on up. Put our hands together for Sue.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Antoine. I just want to give a shout out to Antoine also. He's actually on an advisory council we have for this electric school bus initiative. He's just been a great leader, and it's great to be with you all here today to celebrate Earth Day. And I don't think we could have a more beautiful day. You know, this is really a great moment that we're in right now, and the opportunity to do something good, not just for the planet, but for the people and the kids that we have here. And electric school buses are just one of those ways that we can do something good for all of us. Our goal with the initiative that I run is that we want buses like this, electric buses, to be the normal for kids all over the country. So our goal is that we can equitably electrify the entire school bus fleet by the year 2030, and that's a huge goal. But we're really excited that places like DC and other school districts in this area, Prince George's County, Fairfax, Montgomery County, are really starting this movement. And I think it's really a credit to folks like all of you that are pushing for this and saying this is something that we want for our kids, this is something that we want for our community, and just really encourage you to keep doing that. So you may not know this, but the school bus fleet that we have in this country, it's nearly 500,000 vehicles on the road, and they help 20 million kids get to and from school every day. And that's really critical because disproportionately the kids that depend on those buses are from underserved communities, kids from Black and brown communities, and it's a really key part of the education system to be able to have that access, to be able to get to school. The problem is that the majority of the school buses, almost 90% of them, run on diesel emissions. You're going to hear about why that's a problem a little bit more. But the school districts basically haven't kept up with the technology that's out there that can make it cleaner and healthier for kids. And they are expensive buses. This is a new technology. We know that comes with costs, and so we're really excited that, as you heard from Antoine, there's a new program that Congress put in place at the end of 2022. It's the Clean School Bus Program, and it created a $5 billion pot of funding to help school districts all over the country raise their hands and think about going electric. And really thrilled that DC raised their hand, and they're going to be getting 25 buses under that program. And as you heard also, those buses in this community are for kids with special needs, so we're really thrilled that there's a connection there to some of those underserved communities. So I just love that you're here, and I love the idea of showing your support. One of the things we do at World Resources Institute is collect a lot of data, put together a lot of research, and also put together a lot of tools and resources that folks like yourselves and in the community can use. So if you're interested in some of those resources, even for students and others to get involved, you can go to electricschoolbusinitiative.org and just check it out and see what the options are. And with that, I will maybe turn it over to our next speaker, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Go ahead and get some soup. And we have some snacks before you start cleaning up, so someone, Toni or one of the folks, if they can grab that out of the car. So next we'd like to hear from Katherine Garcia, Director of the Sierra Club Clean Transportation for All. They have been on this journey. I'm actually on the board in Prince George's County for the Sierra Club, and so I'm just so excited that Katherine could be here. She knows very well the impacts of these toxins on our kids, and she knows very well the change doesn't happen by itself, as Dr. King said. You got to push that ball, right? It doesn't happen by ourselves. Without further ado, Katherine, come on up.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Katherine Garcia. I am the director of Sierra Club's Clean Transportation for All campaign, and we are committed to making sure that our kids get to school on clean school buses. We're actually celebrating Earth Day just a few weeks since the last United Nations climate report, and that report said that there is an urgency to addressing the climate crisis. And what that means is that we want to make sure that we're slashing pollution from our combustion vehicles, but also making communities more walkable, bikeable, and more transit friendly. We want to make sure people get from point A to point B in a safe way, in an accessible way. Sierra Club is also a member of the Alliance for Electric School Buses, which is a coalition of advocates working across the country to make sure that the 25 million children that take a school bus each day are getting there soon on an electric school bus, taking advantage of that funding that's out there, but also starting with the communities that are most impacted by air pollution. And in DC, that advocacy is so crucial because here it's predominantly low-income Black and Latino communities that are most afflicted, most harmed by air pollution. We know that dirtier air, growing up in areas with air pollution, kids are more likely to suffer chronic illnesses like asthma. And here in DC, nearly 1 in 10 children are afflicted by asthma. So just a few years ago, there was just a handful of school districts that were investing in electric school buses. And after years of advocacy, parents, clean transportation advocates like me, health experts, and even kids started speaking up for electric school buses. And we know that here in DC, many of the kids who do take a school bus are relying on diesel spewing school buses. But change is coming, thanks to the funding, thanks to state and local federal funding that Antoine and Sue talked about. We know that there's more funding for electric school buses. There's companies that are now making the electric school buses, and school districts and utilities are all working together to make sure our kids have a cleaner ride to school. And like was said earlier, there's 25 school buses that are coming to DC, and we know that there's going to be more coming. I do this work because I have a toddler. He's 3 years old, and he just drives me every day to do more for climate and improving air quality. And I'm dedicated to making sure that when his classmates, or if he takes a school bus in the coming years, that it'll be on an electric school bus. And I want to thank you for coming here today, celebrating Earth Day with us, and thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next we hear from Sam Schmitz, DC Field Events Coordinator for Moms Clean Air Force. Any moms out here? Woo! Raise your hand if you're a mom. All the moms, all right. So moms, they're fighting for all of us, right? And so let's put our hands together for the Moms Clean Air Force. They've been all over the country as well, fighting for electric school buses. All right, Sam. Thank you.
You guys, you want to come up? Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Happy Earth Day. My name is Sam Schmitz, and I'm the DC coordinator for Moms Clean Air Force. We're a community of over 1 million parents and caregivers united in the fight for clean air and climate action to protect our children's health and future. Electric school buses have numerous benefits, as you've heard some of already, not only for our kids, but also for our communities. From climate change to public health, electric school buses combat harmful emissions and air pollution caused by traditional diesel buses. Unfortunately, diesel exhaust from traditional school buses and other vehicles is a known human carcinogen. Diesel exhaust creates tailpipe pollution, which causes a wide range of health issues, from coughing and headaches to triggering asthma attacks and interfering with lung development. In fact, some kinds of air pollution can even affect the brain and the way that children are able to learn. Even worse, diesel pollution inside school buses can be several times higher than outside. Diesel pollution can seep inside the bus from the tailpipe and get trapped inside. That means that children may be getting an extra large dose of pollution on their way to school. Last week, the 2023 State of the Air report found that over 12,000 kids in DC suffer from asthma. But asthma rates vary significantly across the district, with Ward 2 having an asthma rate of just 5.6% and Ward 8 having an asthma rate of 17.6%. And what's worse is that Black children are 5 times more likely to be hospitalized from asthma than non-Hispanic white children. Electric school buses will help cut harmful diesel emissions in communities that are already overburdened with high rates of childhood asthma and high levels of traffic pollution. Electric school buses are an easy and effective first step to cleaning up our air in DC. These buses run on battery power with no tailpipe emissions. You can see that there's no tailpipe on the school bus here, which is always exciting to see. That means no harmful diesel pollution hurting our kids, and no climate harming carbon pollution either. That's why Moms Clean Air Force fights for funding to help schools make the transition to electric buses. All children deserve to breathe clean air. Thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law, last year DC Public Schools received over $7.6 million in funding for 25 electric school buses. This means children across DC will have a safe and healthy ride to school each day. Now we must work together to continue advocating for the equitable rollout of electric school buses to areas of our community that need them the most. I'm excited to watch DC to continue to pave the way to cleaning up our air and our climate. Thank you.
Let me just say, how many of you out here know at least one person in your family or in your network that has asthma? Wow. Wow. Or any other respiratory illness. Wow. So this is very significant. And I just want you to hear the number that Sam said again. One ward had 5% and another ward had what?
17.
So my math said that's over 3 times, right? So this is what we're fighting for. This is not like rhetoric. This is like real lives being impacted by this. So next we'll hear from we'll hear from Mark from GreenPower Motors. He's on their public relations and communications team. So I want to bring Mark up to speak on behalf of the company. They're the one that had this nice bus. Yeah. He's going to turn it on for you. You won't even know it's on, right? You won't even know that the bus is on. So, Mark, thank you for being here.
So I'm the pinch hitter because Michael Perez, who's head of our school bus, just got a call from his wife in California, and his baby fell and cut her head, and she's bleeding from her head. So I'm the pinch hitter to come in and talk today. But on Earth Day, welcome to the start of your Green New School Day right here. And what I want to talk a little bit about is what this is behind me, what this bus is. You've heard all the great things from my colleagues up here on why we're doing this. I want to tell you a little bit about what this is. So this is the only Type A purpose-built all-electric school bus on the market. This bus comes the way you see it here, which is a 24-passenger bus, or this bus also has a rear curbside lift with wheelchair securement for your special needs buses. And as a matter of fact, what we're finding in some of the pilots we're running in West Virginia, where this bus is now being produced, is that some of the more aggressive special needs kids really get soothed when they get on this bus because it's quiet. It could be running right now. It's not, but you wouldn't hear anything different if this bus was running right now. And so there's almost a medicinal purpose behind some of the special needs kids that lined up on these buses with what they're going through from the silence. So everybody always is anxious when you turn to a change. You know, I don't like it when they move the green beans from aisle 5 to aisle 6 at the supermarket. So how far does it go? How do I charge it? All those kind of things. This bus will get you with opportunity charging during the day up to 200 to 225, some days 250 miles. Okay, that's perfect for DC. DC and this bus are made for one another because of the fact that it runs on exactly the opportunities that are here for schools. And it's so important we can get these in and out of the neighborhoods. The kids get to school safe, they get to school ready to learn, and they get to school not tired and ready to go for the day, and they get home safe at night. That's what this bus does. That's what all these great folks and all of you that are advocating are doing by getting these buses on the street. They're made here on the East Coast. They're made in West Virginia, which what does that mean? That means we're turning dirty energy jobs into clean energy jobs in a state that needs economic development. So guess what? There's things on all sides of electric school buses for everybody. Children's health, reduced operating costs, economic job opportunities, it all exists when we're talking about electric buses. So we are so thrilled, Anton, to always be here with you and have the bus here for people to see. And we will start it up in a little bit, and you won't know that it's running when it gets done. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So next I want to bring up Toni Harper, who is president of the Federal City Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I just want you to know that we have a Delta in our household right over here, who's my wife.
Awesome.
And my daughter is also a Delta as well, who's a lawyer in Buffalo. So we got a little clout with the Deltas. Yeah. So I got one that drives me crazy at home and one that drives me crazy when she wants some money.
I won't ask which one is which. Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming. As was stated, I'm Toni Harper, president of Federal City Alumni Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And we've been serving DC since 1969. This is our third year having this event in this park, and we're really excited to be back. When we were asked the opportunity to partner with the Queen Bus and the mayor, I said, why not? Because there's a saying, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you go with others. So the more that we can bring to this event, the more awareness we can bring, the greater the impact. And that's really what it's about. As someone who actually, I am one of those statistics. I suffer from respiratory illnesses. My inhaler is in my purse, just in case something goes wrong, because there's a lot of pollen out here. But it's real. The fact that our kids are being exposed on a regular basis to diesel fuel is not good. It's not good.
And so Delta, Federal City, looks forward to working with you, and I will reach out to your organizations to see how we can increase the impact. 25 is a good start, but it's clearly not enough. We did, at our last national convention, Federal City was responsible for submitting a resolution that Delta would take clean energy, clean air as an initiative that we would push forward. And so I'm excited that that is one of the things that we will be working on. And we've already started, right? And this is really just the beginning, but it's baby steps. It's moving the ball forward, making bigger steps with more people to come along with us. So we really appreciate everyone here. I understand that there are snacks, so get the snacks, but then get ready to work. We will have cleanup items for you to work with, so we can clean up the areas, because it's a justice issue, right? We've heard all the statistics, we've heard the impact on who's really being hurt by this, and it's mostly Black and brown people and people that have lower income. So from a Delta perspective, where there's injustice, we take action. Sisterhood, scholarship service, and social action is what we do. So thank you for coming. I look forward to working with you again. This is just one day, but we do more than just work one day. And I appreciate the opportunity to put the press out, but we don't really do it for the press, we do it for the work. So thank you everyone for coming. Sora's and guests.
All right. Now y'all can say that louder than that, right? I can hear y'all. All right, next, I like the one who really was the glue to help pull this together, this collaboration. Kelly Crawford, International Awareness, Improvement, and Involvement Earth Day Subcommittee Co-Chair for the Federal City Alumni Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, to promote FCAC's Earth Day screening and panel discussion at the American University Center for Environmental Policy next week. But let's, Kelly also, let me just say this is what they have for me to read. Let me break it down. Kelly is an environmental justice guru, champion, advocate. She works, so let's give a nice warm welcome for Kelly Crawford. And she is always on the move at the right place at the right time. Strong Black woman, making a difference for many years. Thank you.
Thanks, Antoine. I'm so excited to have everyone join us here today. When I got the opportunity to co-chair this Earth Day event, the first thing that came to my mind was partnership, right? Who can we partner with to expand and grow this effort? This has become one of our chapter signature programs, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. In my former career, I was the Director of Air Quality at DC's Department of Energy and Environment, and through that work, I worked tirelessly to make sure that DC got its fair share of all of this funding that's coming in for electric school buses. One of the things that we're facing is that DC actually does not have diesel school buses in its fleet. And so before the bipartisan infrastructure law, we had a lot of trouble getting funding to transition our school buses because DC was like an early adopter of gasoline buses, which are better but not as good as the electric school buses, which have zero emissions. And as you heard some of these statistics, we've done some research that shows that there's a disparate impact of human health impacts of air pollution in the district. Even in our small geographic regions, we have stark differences between the communities that are the most white and the communities that are most Black, especially in terms of asthma rates, COPD, cancer, and other diseases that are attributable to poor air pollution. In wards 5, 7, and 8, we have 20 to 25 times the national average of asthma. Emergency room department visits for children right here in the District of Columbia. It shouldn't be like that in the nation's capital. We have so many opportunities to make improvements, and one of the other things that I worked on at DC Department of Energy and Environment is the Volkswagen settlement. We got about $8 million, and through that work, we were repowering the switcher trains at Ivy City. And as you know, Ivy City is another area of the district that's overburdened by air pollution, and so anything that we can do to take some of these heavy-duty diesel engines off the roads, off the train tracks, and out of our communities is going to do the most for the people who live in those communities. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited to see more electric school buses getting on the road, and also really excited to see this particular bus because the district is different. We don't bus all of our kids. We don't have the big school buses, and so having a product that is flexible enough to fit our streets and to meet the needs of our special needs students who are the primary riders of our school buses is super important to have the technology to meet the need and the demand of today. Like SOAR President said, it's not just today though. As part of our Earth Day activities for the chapter on Thursday, the 27th, we will be hosting a screening of a film. I work with American University as an advisor for their Center for Environmental Policy. This film is called Unbreathable, The Fight for Clean, Healthy Air. In it, you'll find out more about how we and also some of the people that I spoke today have been working and fighting to improve air quality in our communities for the last 50 years. You'll hear about the Clean Air Act, and then it'll be followed by a lively panel discussion that'll be moderated by one of my SOARs, Dr. Amber Hewitt, who is the mayor's Chief Equity Officer for the District of Columbia. So I really hope that some of you will come and join us and join in the discussion, have some popcorn and some lively conversation. So that'll be taking place this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. We're co-hosting it with my co-chair Jessica Whitaker and the Howard University Graduate School, and the event will take place at Blackburn Auditorium. And so you can check out our Instagram for the sign-up link for the Eventbrite for that. So thank you everybody for coming, and I have one more speaker that's off script, and that is Natasha Dupree. She is the newly appointed Mayor's Office of Women's Policy and Initiatives Director, and we're so grateful that she took some time out to join us today, so we're going to give her an opportunity to say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I know you're not going to be able to hear the engine of the bus, but we should be able to hear ourselves. Good morning. Good morning. All right, one thing I'm going to do is make sure that we're connected in service. So everybody look at the neighbor. You might know them. There might be a sorority sister. Might be, oh, I don't know. You just walked up. How you doing? Just say service on the count of 3. 1, 2, find a person. Service. I am here, as stated, on behalf of Mayor Bowser, who is a champion for our city. She's a chief champion for service. There are a couple agencies here, so I want to call them out. We have supplies from our Mayor's Office of the Clean City, where we're working 365 days to make sure that DC is a place where we can say confidently there is environmental justice that is being pursued, that every ward, we're in Ward 7. Anybody live in Ward 7? Okay, Ward 7. In Ward 7, in every ward across the city, there are opportunities to make sure that there is cleanliness, right? We have our officers from Metropolitan Police Department. Hey, Officer Klaus. Okay, let's give them love too, right? Everyone is showing up in service. That's what you're here for today. We also have my teammates, so I want to shout them out too, from the Mayor's Office on Women's Policy and Initiatives. One of the things that we do is that we spend the year planning health and wellness initiatives. So you heard, thinking about transportation is not just about wheels on the road, getting to and from a place. It's to think about how does that impact our health. And we know that women and families, right, are the ones who are impacted. The last thing that I'm going to say as we think about service, we talked about service to our communities. I want to talk about service to our households specifically. There are school bus drivers that are employed by the District of Columbia. And during the pandemic, one of the things that the mayor made sure was that they were employed. It's essential for us to have the infrastructure, the people that can drive the buses safely with the training, right? So we appreciate the technology for the bus, right? Thank you, we need that. Okay, no exhaust. But we also need people. So the question that the mayor is asking, are y'all ready for the question? Yes. Okay, here's the question, because I need you to get the answer. It's an answer. Okay. What is your role in DC's comeback? Right now, we have already transitioned, right, with the pandemic, making sure that we keep our school bus drivers employed. I'm a family member who has school bus drivers, so I know we are grateful for our household for that income. What's your role now? We have the job. Maybe we're working on making awareness a part of our work for health and wellness, shifting some other policy. We are in DC. I know y'all want to talk to Congress. I see moms, Clean Air Force, right? So again, as we think about DC's comeback, know that DC is hiring. So if you're looking around like, oh, I want to transition, this seems like some good work to be up to. There are lots of opportunities to join our work. And on behalf of Mayor Bowser, I'm grateful for you to tune in today. And also for those who are physically here to serve with us after our presentation with the cleanup in this area.
Just one more shout out. I do have one colleague from DC Department of Energy and Environment here supporting. So, hey man. I also want to just thank Antoine for helping pull all this together, and Laurel for really being behind the scenes, pulling everything together.
Yes, thank you. We have our interns here from California as well. California's in the house. You know, California has been leading the clean air and clean transportation movement. But our challenge is not only to catch up to California, but to beat California, right? Yeah. Right? We don't want to meet y'all, we want to beat you. All right. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have everybody come over. We're going to take a nice group photo by the bus. So everyone come on so we can take a nice photo. Then after that, we'll have some snacks, and Kelly will give you your instructions on, we're all going to do a little cleanup. So we got some gloves and all that. I am a big tree hugger, right? I've been planting trees and cutting grass and lawns and picking up trash for 20 years or more. So I'm so excited y'all here today. All right, so we work for the DC Department of Energy and Environment before now.